Okay, let's talk about Harry and Meghan. So they have got rid of how many more staff members and why?
Well, this sort of links to that story I was talking about on this show a couple of weeks ago that I had in Mail on Sunday, which is that they're restructuring their staff to become a sort of royal household. And of course, now what's happened is, as part of the restructure, a few heads had to roll. And one of them is Charlie Gibson, who is their sort of head of UK PR.
Right.
And has overseen, I suppose, some blunders. I would have thought we'd put them.
If he's
like
the
that.
UK PR, he's not done a great job for.
Well, he's been there for a year, and he was such a surprise appointment anyway, because he used to do the PR for Pedigree Charm and Mars bars. It was just a strange appointment anyway. So anyway, he's gone, and their man in America, Kyle's gone. And they've now got a friend of Harry's who actually went to Sandhurst Military Academy, so very much of that ilk, running their UK PR.
Why can't they keep hold of anyone? What's the
Well,
issue?
I think in this example, it's not people walking, which has happened many times. It's them sort of cutting the wheat from the chaff. And what they want to do is create this really firm structure so that when people come and go, we don't all go crazy saying yet another person's walked or yet another person's been fired. They just say, look, this is the structure. Of course, inevitably, as in all jobs, some people come and go.
How many people would be...
You can tell I'm smiling because I'm really semi-convinced by their take on events.
How many people would be in that sort of target structure?
Well, there's about sort of 10 now, but what they've said in their statement today, they've issued this really lofty statement from Meredith, who's their new boss, saying, oh, we're now going to have 8 members of staff globally responding to press inquiries and stories, on all different time zones all across the world. And I've got to say, I mean, for somebody who wants to be private, I do think Harry's got an awful lot of people now.
Yeah, right.
Globally responding in time zones all over the world to press inquiries.
OK, Charlotte, thank you.
Squad, gather round because once again we are witnessing the shameless pageantry of the firm trying to keep up with the true power couple. Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Welcome to Royal Sussex Squad, your safe haven of truth, love and unapologetic defence of the only royals actually doing anything meaningful in the modern world. And today we've got a fresh episode of what I like to call the Royal Copycat Chronicles. Let's get into it. So here we are, barely weeks after Meghan and Harry made headlines, yet again, for making bold strategic moves that position them not just as cultural icons, but global leaders in philanthropy and storytelling. Meghan, always a step ahead, has brought on Sarah Fosmo, a woman with a serious track record, an executive who worked closely with Melinda Gates and Tony Robbins. We are talking about a woman who managed high-stakes operations for billionaires. This is a professional who doesn't play games. She executes legacies. And no sooner than that news started gaining traction in the media, guess what happens? Kate Middleton suddenly emerges from royal hibernation. Yes, after months out of the spotlight, and the first thing she does, she books a private, closed-door meeting with Melinda Gates herself, at Windsor Castle, no less. Now, you tell me, how is that not a strategic counter-move? The timing, the secrecy, the optics? Let's stop pretending this is all just coincidental. Let's stop pretending that Meghan's power moves aren't dictating how the entire firm operates. Because every time Meghan dares to rise, the palace sends out a royal response. And y'all, it's getting embarrassingly predictable. Let's dig deeper. Meghan hires Melinda Gates' former right-hand woman, an expert who has advised the most influential voices in gender equality and empowerment. And what does Kate do? She hosts Melinda Gates for tea and biscuits in Windsor, as if that's supposed to one-up the Duchess. But here's the difference. Meghan builds. Kate borrows. Meghan is crafting initiatives. Kate is copying headlines. But let's zoom out. Why is this happening? Because the Sussexes are no longer playing by the palace rulebook. They've shredded the outdated playbook and replaced it with authenticity, substance and vision. Meanwhile, the Waleses are still stuck in this antiquated model of royal appearances and vague statements about mental health and early years. Let me ask you, when's the last time you saw an actual impact come from those early childhood initiatives they keep waving around? I'm not talking about photo ops or press releases. I'm talking real-world measurable change. Compare that with what Meghan and Harry are doing. Archewell has partnered with World Central Kitchen. Meghan's 40x40 initiative, the mental health work Harry does through Better Up. Invictus. Netflix projects that shine a light on the unheard. And now, with Love, Meghan, the new lifestyle brand. Confessions of a Female Founder, the podcast that promises to amplify real voices. Every project is purposeful, strategic, and designed to uplift, not just perform. So when I see Kate and William trying to swoop in and schedule meetings with Melinda Gates, after years of not doing so, I see what it is. It's reactionary. It's not leadership. It's optics. Let's talk about the Royal Foundation, the organisation Kate and William co-lead. We're told it focuses on early childhood development and mental health. But let me remind everyone, that foundation is still tied to the same structure that drove Harry and Meghan out. That same environment that turned its back on Meghan when she was pregnant and suicidal. That same firm that watched a biracial duchess get torn apart by the press and said, nothing. That same structure is now trying to cloak itself in progressivism by name-dropping Melinda Gates. No, we see right through it. Let's not forget that the Royal Foundation used to be Harry and Meghan's too. They were part of that team. But they left. They walked away from the toxic performative culture, and they started building from scratch. And that's what terrifies the monarchy. Harry and Meghan have shown that the crown doesn't define greatness. Character does, purpose does. And the Waleses, they're scrambling to keep up. Let's look at Sarah Fosmo again. This isn't just some celebrity assistant. This woman managed the schedules, priorities, and strategies of one of the most influential women in philanthropy. And she's not joining Meghan's team to be a sidekick. She's helping drive a dynamic period of growth. You know what that tells me? That Meghan's plans are bigger than we've even seen? Netflix was just the beginning. Archetypes was just the beginning. This new era, it's going to be transformative. And it's no wonder they're scared. Meghan's not just redefining the role of a duchess. She's redefining the entire idea of what female leadership looks like. On her terms, with her voice, in her power. Meanwhile, what does the press say? They act like Kate walking back into Windsor Castle after months away is a second coming. They act like a quiet private chat with Melinda Gates is some massive humanitarian milestone. But let's be honest. What came of that meeting? What new initiative was launched? What policy did they unveil? What community was served? Nothing. Crickets. Because that wasn't a meeting for progress, that was a meeting for headlines. And isn't it interesting how the media falls right in line? They elevate the royal PR stunts and then twist Meghan's moves into something sinister. When Meghan hires a strategic powerhouse like Fosmo, it's painted as calculated. But when Kate meets a billionaire philanthropist in secret, it's inspiring. The hypocrisy is loud, and we're done pretending not to hear it. Let's talk about Meghan's New Chapter. The lifestyle brand, the podcast, the Netflix content, it's not just about branding, it's about empowerment. She's curating a platform for authentic stories, for women's voices, for honesty and healing. She's not playing dress-up. She's not holding charity receptions behind closed doors. She's putting her name, her voice and her soul on the line. And the Duchess of Sussex isn't doing it alone. She's assembling a team that can move mountains. That's what leaders do. That's what visionaries do. That's what queens do. And it burns them up inside that she's not only surviving without the royal family, she's thriving, flourishing, setting the pace. Squad, don't let the royal distraction campaign fool you. These so-called engagements are reactionary stunts, plain and simple. They're desperate attempts to keep up with the Sussexes, who are on a whole other playing field. And I want you to take a moment and recognise how powerful that is. Meghan and Harry chose to walk away from one of the most powerful institutions in the world. And instead of fading into irrelevance, like the tabloids hoped, they built a legacy that shines brighter than ever. They chose truth, they chose peace, they chose each other. And they're still making the royals dance to their rhythm. So let's make it clear one more time. Meghan is not in competition with anyone. She's in her purpose. She's walking in her light. The firm is playing dress-up with borrowed influence. Meghan is creating real change with global reach. Kate meets with Melinda Gates just weeks after Meghan and Harry strike deal with Bill Gates' ex-assistant. The engagement marked the Princess of Wales's first official activity in her capacity as patron of the Royal Foundation Princess. Kate has met with Melinda Gates just weeks after Meghan Markle and Prince Harry struck a deal with Bill Gates' ex-assistant. The Princess of Wales resumed her official duties following a private meeting with American philanthropist Melinda Gates at Windsor Castle on Wednesday. The engagement marked Kate's first official activity in her capacity as patron of the Royal Foundation, the charitable organisation she leads alongside Prince William. According to the court circular, which formally records royal engagements, the Prince of Wales accompanied his wife for the meeting with the former spouse of Microsoft founder Bill Gates. Kate meets with Melinda Gates just weeks after Meghan and Harry's strike deal with Bill Gates's ex-assistant Getty. The private nature of the discussion meant the specific purpose of their meeting has not been disclosed. The Royal Foundation serves as the primary charitable vehicle for the Prince and Princess of Wales, concentrating on initiatives related to early childhood development and mental health support. Gates, who established Pivotal Ventures to promote gender equality across the United States, brings her own philanthropic expertise to the table. The American Philanthropists Organization focuses specifically on advancing opportunities for women, though how this might align with the Royal Foundation's objectives remains unclear. The Princess of Wales resumed her official duties following a private meeting with American philanthropist Melinda Gates at Windsor Castle on Wednesday. Getty. Both women share established track records in charitable endeavours, with their respective organisations addressing social issues through different approaches and geographical focuses. Whilst it remains uncertain whether the Princess and Gates have collaborated previously, the philanthropist has crossed paths with Prince William before. In 2014, William presented Gates with the prestigious Chatham House Prize, establishing a connection between the American philanthropist and the royal family over a decade ago. The timing of this meeting comes merely a month after the Duke and Duchess of Sussex recruited Sarah Fosmo, Gates's former assistant, as a senior advisor to Meghan. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stepped down as working royals in 2020. Getty Fosmo, who spent 6 years at Gates Ventures managing operations for the Microsoft founder, will oversee what has been described as a dynamic period of growth for the Duchess. The Duchess of Sussex's new advisor will guide her through the launch of her Netflix series With Love Meghan, her As Ever product line and her podcast Confessions of a Female Founder. Fosmo, 45, describes herself as an accomplished professional with an extensive, long-tenured career managing complex, high-stakes operations for ultra-high net worth individuals. She previously worked for motivational speaker Tony Robbins as a senior executive assistant for 7 years. Prince Harry has also appointed Leanne Cashin, who previously served as executive assistant to his former chief of staff Josh Kettler. And now, Squad, I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of Kate's meeting with Melinda Gates? Coincidence? Or another royal shadow move to try and stay relevant in Meghan's wake? And if you're proud of what Meghan and Harry are building, if you believe in their message, in their work, in their love, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single drop of truth. And if you want to support this community as we keep shining the light on what really matters, hit that super thanks button below. Every contribution helps us grow, amplify our voices, and keep telling the stories that mainstream media buries, because this isn't just a podcast, this is a movement, a Royal Sussex movement. So until next time, keep shining, keep speaking up, and keep riding with Harry and Meghan, because the crown may have titles, but the Sussexes have hearts, purpose, and the world's respect. This is Royal Sussex Squad, where the truth always finds its voice.